hydrophobic core of the protein. Okay, so if you see like each protein, okay, so it will be having some like hydrophobic cell. All right, hold on a second. I'm trying to draw a picture here. So you are able to see a board, right? White color board. Are you able to see the board, students?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Is it available now?
No, sir.
Can you see? Still not. I
No, sir.
already shared the board. Is it available now?
No, sir. Still not.
It's showing like Shubha's name, Hema Kasturi, Navarasi.
Yes, sir, it is actually opening in another tab. It is not
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
screen.
Okay. So just check everybody, like whether you are able to see it. Can you see everybody?
Yes, sir.
So all of you can see the picture that I am drawing here, right?
No, sir.
Okay, that's good. So assume that this is a protein. Okay. So let's see. So if you see here, right? So this region is like so like inside, right? So from the center, I'm keep on going out. Okay. So like I will be able to go just like this. All right. See here. Okay. So assume like this as a like a globular protein. All right. So the black moth, right? So it is a globular protein. So I am from the center. I am drawing a circle. Okay. So little by little, I'm increasing the radius. So I am getting like a different shell. Okay. So if you see the globular protein in the center, you will be having like a large number of hydrophobic amino acid. Okay, because all the hydrophobic amino acid will be trying to keep away from the solvent molecules. So most of the solvent molecules that I'm not able to put a dot here. So I'm putting like something. Okay. All right. So you will see like lot of like solvent water molecules on the outside of on the surface of the protein. Okay, so even though you will be you will be able to see some water molecule in the center also, in the inside of the protein as well, but these solvent molecules will be neutralized by having hydrogen bonding with adjacent atoms. Okay, so the hydrophobic amino acid will be like nearly away from the solvent molecules. So if you keep on going from the center, okay, so the number of hydrophobic amino acid will be decreasing. Maybe in the center you will have like a large number, and the next cell you will have like a somewhat the number is reduced, and then again like in the next cell still the number of like hydrophobic amino acids will be like less. And if you go to the surface, you won't see like any hydrophobic amino acid. Okay, so the thing is like how the hydrophobic amino acids are arranged, so that you have to see. All right. uh, so when I am saying like from the center, okay, so from the center I'm saying you have like I'm saying like in from the center you will have like a hydrophobic amino acid means don't think that the center is completely off from hydrophilic amino acid. When I say hydrophobic amino acid won't be present on the surface of the protein, don't assume in the surface you will not see like any hydrophobic amino acid. It's not like that. All right. So then, what will happen when you have like hydrophobic amino acid on the surface? Okay. So come to the like this whiteboard. So you see here. So maybe I'm assuming like some hydrophobic amino acid something here. All right. So what is here? So the hydrophobic amino acid, if it is present on the surface, but the side chain will be facing towards the core. Do you understand? All right. So if you have some hydrophobic amino acid, all right, so the side chain will be facing towards the center of the protein. It will not expose to the solvent like this. Okay, so if it is exposed to the solvent, then it is a real problem. It cannot. All right. So by nature, it will twist. The main chain will twist in a such a way that the side chain of the hydrophobic amino acid is protruding towards the center of the protein. So it will secure a hydrophobic environment. All right. So coming back to the like this whiteboard, suppose if I have like a hydrophilic amino acid, maybe I will change the color here. All right. So if you see, so if you have like hydrophilic amino acid in the center, so as I marked here in a green color, it will try to keep away the side chain, keep away from the center, or otherwise it will like face towards the outer face of the outer surface of the protein. Okay, so thereby it will try to have like hydrophilic environment. All right. So by nature the protein will try to make a hydrophobic core, hydrophobic core of the protein. Okay, once the hydrophobic core is formed, the protein is like able to make a like a proper three-dimensional shape for each protein. All right, is it clear, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just let me know because I'm not looking at this. I'm looking only the whiteboard. Okay. If anybody wants to have permission to enter the class, just let me know. So I don't see that Google Meet. Okay.
So please send the link for whiteboard again, sir. I joined late, so I'm not able to access that.
What do you mean?
Sir, I'm not able to visualize the whiteboard. Please send that link again.
I think you have to join. Okay. You have to join at the right time. But now I don't know how to share again. It's showing only how many people are there in class. You see, this is the thing. Like time is completely wasting. Okay. So how many are here? So 5. 10, 14 students are there, right? So the board, it is sharing only to the 8 people. Where is the board? I think I have to quit the board and I have to redo everything. Oh, Snega, Podar, Sagar, all are here only. Rogan goes or from different class. I don't know. I have to quit this whiteboard. Then again, I have to redo this. I cannot repeat it. So just follow because if you have to, you are supposed to come by 9:30 means you should be here. I have to again redraw everything that I cannot do right now. All right.
Okay, sir.
So I am doing a new whiteboard. Okay. So whatever I have taken in the last minutes that I cannot repeat. Okay. So maybe whatever I'm going to do hereafter, I think that you could follow. Okay, is it available now for everybody? All of you can see the board?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now I was showing you an example of a globular protein. Okay. So suppose I have some protein, something like this. So you have some domain over here, all right? So maybe you have another domain, something like this, and it is running like this, and you have another domain. Okay. So in this case, how will you find out the hydrophobic core? So as I explained you in a previous whiteboard, so if I draw a circle from the center of the protein, I have to draw a circle something like this. right? So this is like doesn't give you like any meaning. Okay, so because if I draw from the center of the protein, this is the center, so I have to draw the circle from here. Okay, so that will ignore like these domains, all right? Or else the distribution of like hydrophobic amino acid from the center. So I cannot give like a clear cut number, right? So in that case, what I have to do, so I have to concentrate like individual domains. Okay, so individual domains I have to think of. So here I have like some domain, here I have like a second domain, here I have like a third domain. So for each domain separately, I have to draw a like a circle from the center so that I can find out the hydrophobic cell. All right. So whatever. So I have given you like a case of like a globular protein or like a protein like extended shape. Okay. So whatever it is, so definitely you will have like some hydrophobic core. Okay. And all right. So if you look at the backbone of the protein, so what do you see in the like black in the backbone? You have like a NH group, maybe what I will do is can type, I guess. So you are able to see the letters, right? Yes or no? Are you able to see the letters?
Yes,
Sundar,
sir.
Yes,
Sir.
you are able to
yes,
see
sir.
them, right? Okay. So this is, so you can see this is just the backbone, right? So you have like a NH NH group here, and this is like a C alpha atom, and this is C prime, C double bond O. All right. So uh, oh, what I yeah. So you have like a nitrogen here, right? So this nitrogen and this carboxyl oxygen, they have like a positive and negative charge. Okay. Even though I have like a hydrophobic amino acid on the center, right? So as I told you, I have the hydrophobic amino acid in the center, in the core of the protein. But still, these hydrophobic amino acid are carrying this like charged atom, right? So this nitrogen and oxygen. So what they will do? So they will make a hydrogen bonding. Okay, hydrogen bonding, so that they will neutralize their charge. Okay, so by making like a hydrogen bonding with adjacent nitrogen or with adjacent oxygen, so they will neutralize. Okay, so the hydrophobic amino acid can retain, can have the nitrogen and oxygen atom in the core. Okay, so so the polar and the charged amino acids, even though they have like nitrogen oxygen in the backbone, the charge will be neutralized. So in some case, the polar or like charged amino acid itself will be present in the hydrophobic pole, hydrophobic core. Okay. So for example, like all the active site, they are like a charged amino acids only, like serine, histidine, aspartate, like all these amino acids, they are having like nitrogen or like oxygen in the side chain. So these polar groups will make like a hydrogen bonding with the water molecule or with the metal atom or with the ligand in the active site. Okay, so thereby they can stay in the hydrophobic core. All right. So it is important that you should understand the structure of the structural arrangement of the proteins. Okay. All right. So why it is making a secondary structure? So as I told you, like from the backbone, in the backbone, okay, so you have like a nitrogen and oxygen. So these nitrogen and oxygen in the main chain atom, okay, they will try to make a hydrogen bonding. Okay, so so that like it can avoid the disturbing the hydrophobic environment. So it can have like a favorable conformation for the protein. Okay, so it will make like a hydrogen bonding. So that's why thereby it can make like a secondary structure. Okay, so very simplest form of like a secondary structure is like alpha helix and beta sheet arrangement. And in particular, alpha helix arrangement, by making a like alpha helix arrangement is like a very simplest thing to for formation of the secondary structure. All right. So all the amino acids, okay, either it will form like alpha helix or beta sheet. Okay, so both we have like a two types of amino acid, like L amino acid and D amino acid. Okay, you can make a polypeptide secondary structure. Okay, like make a model of like a secondary structure by using like a continuous sequence of like L amino acid or like a D amino acid. All right. So, but in nature we have like only L amino acid, and the secondary structure in nature we see only with like L amino acid. Okay. So again, the all the alpha helixes. Okay, that mostly that we have observed in the crystal structure is like only right-handed, not the left-handed alpha helices. Okay, so very less number extended left-handed helices are found in the protein structures, but most of the time we see the right-handed helices only. Okay. Okay, I am sharing my screen. You are able to see the picture, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So here you can see like the alpha helix. Okay, so this is the C terminal. Okay, and this is the N terminal. So it is starting from nitrogen, right? So the N terminal it is starting from here, and the helix it's running like this. Okay, so if you see here, okay, so there is a geometry for like alpha helix. So here, if you come around like this, so this is called like a turn. Okay, so for a single turn, it will have like a 3.6 residues. Okay, it requires like 3.6 residues. Okay, and the height of this turn is like a 5.4 angstrom unit. All right, so this is the side view of the alpha helix, and from the top, if you view from the top, so it will look like this. Okay, so this is the top view. So from the top, if you see here, you can see some hole, something here, right? So it looks like it is having some hole in this region. Okay, so But in actual case, you won't see any cavity or any hole through the center of the alpha helix. Okay, because the cavity, whatever that it look here, seen here, is like a very smaller. Okay, and so this is the based on van der Waals radii. Okay, so this actually atomic size, the actual represented with like atomic size of like each atom. But this is like van der Waals radii. So if you see the van der Waals radii, the center will be like completely blocked. Okay, so you do not have any pore or any cavity at the center of alpha helix. Okay, so the alpha helix, if you see here, so as I told you, it will be having like a hydrogen bonding between adjacent amino acids. So here the C prime of the first carbon, carboxyl oxygen of the first carbon, is making hydrogen bonding with the hydrogen of like fourth nitrogen. Okay, so this is like N to N plus 4. Okay, so fifth amino acid, so it will make a hydrogen bonding. And similarly, so you can see the nitrogen of the second. If you have like some carboxyl group here, it will make hydrogen bonding here. Okay, so then the second carboxyl oxygen, C2 prime. So this is C1 prime, this is C2 prime. Second carboxyl oxygen, it is making hydrogen bonding with sixth atom, sixth nitrogen. Okay, so likewise, so if you, it will go like this. All right, so you will have like a N2 N plus 4 formation. So this is a regular pattern of the alpha helix. So this is the regular alpha helix. So there are some variant also, so that we will see in the following slide. All right, so if you see here, so everywhere it will have, so it is also indicating the polarity. Okay, so the charge is, it is going from here, from like N terminal to C terminal. The charge is moving towards like C terminal. All right. So naturally occurring alpha helix that we see is like only the right-handed alpha helix. So only in very like few structures these left-handed alpha helices are observed, but most often we see the right-handed alpha helix. So here, if you see the secondary structure arrangement of alpha helix, okay, so it will tell you one important information. So what is that? Can anybody guess? Okay, so I'll tell you. So if you see closely the secondary structure of like alpha helix, so the side chains, okay, so here the side chains, it is facing one side, and the other side chains it's facing outside. Okay, so most of the time the hydrophobic amino acid present in the alpha helix will be facing towards the center of the protein. Assume like this as the like center, the hydrophobic amino acid will be facing towards the center. And on the other hand, the hydrophilic amino acid will be facing towards the surface of the protein. Okay, so if I have like another alpha helix running over here, all right. So, sorry, this pen. So if I have like another alpha helix, something like this, with the, which is adjacent here, okay. So the hydrophobic amino acid will be facing towards the center, okay, so that it can make a hydrophobic environment between, yes or no, between these two helices. Okay, so it will make a hydrophobic core over here. So hydrogen bonding will be here. All right. Is it clear, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So there is a program called like something I don't know, Alpha Helix, like Finder or like a wheel. I think Alpha Helix wheel. I think so. If you go to the Google, you can just Google it, Alpha Helix wheel. It will give you some software. Okay, so just submit your like PDB file. Okay, so it will make like a wheel. Like so, on the wheel you will see one side of the wheel. You will have, suppose I have a wheel something like this. So one side I will see hydrophobic amino acid, and another side I will see the hydrophilic amino acid. Okay. So now we are seeing like alpha helix variants. So you can see this is the N2, N plus 4. So this is the regular helix, and there is like a 310 helix. So in 310 helix, there will be hydrogen bonding between N to N plus 3. Okay, so here there are like a 3 residues per turn, whereas in like a regular helix, you have like 3.6 residues per turn. Okay, so one turn here in like 310 helix, you will have like a like only 10 atoms. Okay, so that's why it is called like a 310 helix. Okay, 3 residues per turn and 10 atoms in the turn. Another type of helix is like pi helix. So here the hydrogen bonding is N to N plus 5. Okay, so if you see the cavity on the center of like alpha helix, right? So in the I told you the cavity in the regular alpha helix there is nothing. All right. So in 310 helix, this cavity will be still reduced, whereas this N plus 5, if you see here, the cavity will be little larger, okay, compared to this regular alpha helix. But still, don't assume this is a pore. So any like elements like iron, sodium, or whatever that can travel through this pore, don't think like that. Okay. So in pi helix, there is a hole. All right. So the next one, that is this one, this N plus 5. This pi helix is a hole in the middle of the helix. Okay. So again, like this pi helix and 310 helix, they are not like energetically stable. Only regular alpha helix will be like stable structure. Okay. So alpha helices as well as like 310 and pi helices are like almost like a right-handed. So in very rare case, the left-handed alpha helix as well as the 310 alpha helices can occur. Okay, so mostly they will have like only a very short stretch of like a sequencer. Maybe it will have like 4 amino acids or like 5 amino acids. That's all right. There are only about like 30 reported cases of like left-handed helices, all right, not like too much helices. So the dipole moment, as I told you, so you have like this is like the pen, yeah, this is the N-terminal region, and you have like a C-terminal region. Okay, so the dipole moment, so it is running from this direction from C-terminal to N-terminal. All right. So all these things that you should remember here. So good and bad helix format. So there are some amino acid which can help to make like alpha helices, and there are some amino acid which can disturb the formation of alpha helices. So if you see glycine, okay, so glycine doesn't have like any side chain. Okay, so it may since it doesn't have like any side chain, okay, it cannot make like hydrogen bonding with the side chain. All right. So most of the time, in the middle of the glycine, if the glycine appears in the middle of alpha helix, okay, the alpha helix structure will be bent. All right, because it's not able to make a stable hydrogen bonding. All right. So most of the time, the glycine will be present only at the end of the alpha helix, either at the N terminal or at the C terminal. Okay. Similarly, proline. Proline also doesn't have like side chain because the side chain is making hydrogen bonding with the nitrogen atom. Okay. So proline also will disturb the regular structure of alpha helices. Okay. So in fact, proline is called as a helix breaker. Okay. So proline also will be found most of the time either at the beginning or at the end of the alpha helices. All right. So alanine, glutamine, leucine, methionine are like good helix former. Okay, so proline, glycine, tyrosine, serine are very poor helix formers. Okay, and you can see like periodic patterns in alpha helix. Okay, so the most common location of a helix is along the like outside of the protein. You can see here on the surface you will see the helix most of the time, whereas inside you will see the beta sheet. Okay, so in this case you will see all the hydrophobic amino acid will be facing towards the like surface, whereas hydrophobic amino acid will be facing towards the core of the protein. Similarly, here also. Okay, and then okay, okay. So then next we have like a beta sheet. So in beta sheet we have like two types of beta sheet, like anti-parallel beta sheet and then parallel beta sheet. In anti-parallel beta sheet, you can see here it is starting. Okay, so the nitrogen atom it is starting from here, so it will go through this direction. Okay, so N terminal, so I can indicate with an arrow here. Okay, so this tail region indicate the N terminal, and this head indicate the C terminal. Okay, so one chain it's running in this direction, another chain it is running in this direction, another chain it's running in this direction. Okay, so this is like anti-parallel for each other. Okay, so the N terminal and C terminal are in anti-parallel fashion. Okay, so that's why it's called like anti-parallel beta sheet. So if you see here, okay, so the adjacent, all right, so the adjacent strand, beta strand, is making hydrogen bonding between each of these. So if you see here, the hydrogen bondings are like a like periodic in a like very nice pattern. They are like straight. Okay, the carboxyl and amino group it is making like a direct like hydrogen bonding in anti-parallel beta sheet. Okay, whereas in parallel beta strand, right? So everywhere you can see here, right? So each adjacent strand here, they are running on same direction. Okay, and in this one, all right. So if you see here, the hydrogen bonding will look like a zigzag. Okay, because they are running in a same direction. So the amino group and carboxyl group will not be coming in same line. So it looks like a zigzag thing. All right. And one more thing is, so here you can see here. So this is like a sidewise. Okay, this is top view. Whatever that you are looking at here is like a top view, and this one is like a side view. All right, so two adjacent beta strand. So the N terminal is here and the C terminal is here. So if you look at this beta strand, okay, So the hydrophobic amino acid will be facing towards the center, and hydrophilic amino acid will be facing towards the solvent. All right. So just like in alpha helix, the beta strand also will prefer the hydrophobic as well as hydrophilic environment. All right. So there are proteins only with like anti-parallel beta sheet. There are protein only with like parallel beta sheet. There are protein with like mixed type of beta strands as well. So you will have like a so anti-parallel beta sheet, and then you may also have like a parallel beta strand. All right. Okay. So most of the time, the alpha helix, sorry, beta strands in the protein will be found at the core of the protein, and mostly the alpha helix will be in twisted form. Okay, so twisted beta sheets that you will see in most of the time. All right, so I have discussed the like secondary structures of like protein. Okay, so we have to see the tertiary structure as well as the quaternary structure, and I have talked about like primary structures already. Okay, uh, so maybe in the next class I will talk about tertiary and quaternary structure. Okay.